To prepare your garlic, and we're going to use about a head, you can go ahead and peel the garlic cloves and then slice them into thin rounds. Next, we'll do our onion. Cut your onion in half, remove the peel, and then slice it into thin strips. Our collard green leaves are going to be really easy to prep. You can cut out the stem by folding the leaf in half and cutting away the thick part of the stem. You can discard the stems or put them in the freezer for when it's time to make vegetable stock. Now it's time to cut our collard leaves into how we want to use them for this braise. This is called a chiffonade cut. How we're going to do this is fold the collard leaf in half lengthwise and then roll it up. And you want to have a tight roll so that you can cut little strips going down the roll, and what you end up with is kind of a thin ribbon. When you're thinking about the width to cut, think about the width of a fettuccine noodle, or maybe about the width of your pinky. And here you have your chiffonade collard greens. The amount that I've used is about 1 large colander of loosely packed chiffonade collard greens. For this amount of collard greens, we're going to use about 1 pound of sausage. We do want to remove the sausage from the casing so that we can brown it. And what we'll end up with are crumbles. Let's start cooking. What I have here is a little bit of avocado oil heated over medium-high heat, and we're going to saute our garlic. Before the garlic gets any color on it, we can add our onions to the pan and our sausage. Continue cooking over medium-high heat until your sausage is browned. Let's start adding our collard greens to the pan. You can add a couple handfuls at a time. Just make sure that you're not overfilling the pan so that you have room to stir. You can continue sauteing over medium-high heat until those have wilted down. Then you can add a couple more handfuls of collard greens and do the same. Repeat until all of your collard greens are in the pan. There's going to be a significant amount of cook down, so you'll see the volume reduce and some liquid start to form in the pan. Believe it or not, we don't have to do a lot of seasoning. Let's just use a little bit of sea salt here, sprinkled on top of the collards. Because you have a nice quality sausage, you're going to get a lot of flavor from that alone. And here's what your collards are going to look like once they've cooked down a bit. Now it's time for the braising. Continue to cook the collards and the sausage over medium heat. Add about 2 cups of good quality beef stock. Bring your stock to a simmer and continue cooking the collards in the stock, just allowing them to bubble a bit. That's the braising part. We don't want to boil these, we don't want them to be too mushy, but we do want some of the moisture to cook off. We do want some of the moisture from the stock to cook off, and that's going to help us develop our flavor for this dish as well. It's going to take about 20 minutes for the moisture to cook off, and then what you're going to want to do is taste your dish and re-season with a little bit of salt if necessary. And there you have it, braised collards and sausage. We served ours with some crispy roasted potatoes and a little bit of pecorino romano to continue with that Italian flavor profile. Enjoy! Learn more about shopping local and how to use the ingredients when you listen to the Chef, Farm, and Fork podcast. It's available through most podcast players, including Apple, Spotify, and Anchor. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.